Hello, what up? Welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Pilo, I am your host, and if you're wondering what this channel is about, well, this is where Kaizer Chiefs fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs Football Club. So do make sure to leave your comment down on the comment section below where I interact and respond to you guys because I care what you guys have to say. Speaking of people that I've been engaging with, today's shout out goes to Mpho Kitime. Shout out to you, Mpho. Continue engaging down in the comment section. And as I always say, if you're engaging with me on the comment section on every video that I post, then I will be giving you a shout out in each and every video. So shout out to you, Mpho, for today, and tomorrow will be someone else as well. Now, today we are talking about central defensive midfielders because we are going through this series where we're basically asking, as you saw on the title, who will start? Who will Arthur Zwane start, and who do I think Zwane will start based on what I see him doing or what I saw him doing last season and in what I've heard him say as well. So bear with me, also engage with me on the comment section. We will start with Jabulo. Yes, I know, right? I know. But this Ngobo, I'm starting with him because in the remotest possibility ukuthi uNgobo akadlali as a centre back, he might be a cover for a defensive midfielder because in a short time that he played as a defensive midfielder last season, we saw ukuthi he was able to, do what's required. He was good defensively. He's a defender after all. And apparently, I heard ukuthi vele esadlala eKaso wherever where he's from, wayedlala vele as a defensive midfielder. So that's a position that he has played. And when you are there, you need to be fit, you need to be calm, you need to have a vision, which he certainly has. And you need to have a leadership, which is something that maybe can be worked on. But when you look at his passing, his positioning, and his ability on the ball, it definitely fits that role, and we definitely saw him doing it even in the Soweto derby. So if a person can play a position out of position with Soweto derby and end up doing well, then I would say that position would suit him. And especially if, for instance, we're playing a double pivot. I'm not using the board namhlanje just like I was last week because so I didn't want to waste my time today. Anyway, so if you're playing a double pivot and you're giving one midfielder a freedom to move forward, then Ungcobo will be that one person also behind and make sure ukuthi if we're attacking with a full back set to the defenders, they open up and then he gets in, he drops in between the defenders. In that way, when we're attacking, we still have a back three but not necessarily as if le back three besidlala ukuthi 3-4-3 and by default we have three defenders, but we'll have two defenders, but since any defensive midfielder then we'll drop up between our defenders, which would work pretty well. We see these things our team egwenza even in Europe, so and it works. I'm not saying a scopel in Europe, but I'm saying in good systems we've seen it work, so why not Jabulo? And the next person that is an obvious choice vele is Yusuf Mat. And Umati kwi-system abebedlala kwisekhukhune is i-4-4-2. So kwisekhukhune ubebedlala i-double pivot vele because 4 la iswini. So it was him and I forget who he was playing with. And because of his ability, defensive abilities, ukatsani kusambenyewa scheme because Umati was able to cover the defensive part and also was able to cover the offensive part because of the fact that he's fit, so he was able to cover going forward and also to cover going backwards. And also, if you're playing in that position, you must be able to find small spaces. The positioning is very vital model as a defensive midfielder because even when it comes to when we are starting the ball from the back, in some cases you find when you are playing specifically when you are playing with two defenders, two center backs and uhlali back 4 basically. And then the two defenders will go outside, like on the edge of the box, and then a defensive midfielder goes to the D-line to collect the ball. And in that way, to start building up from the back, because we know Zwane doesn't want to play ball, kick and hope, so you definitely would see Umati playing in that role because especially if usidlala again i-4-2-3-1. I'm emphasizing indaba ye-4-2-3-1 because I saw ukuthi uZwane it seemed like ubefuna ukudlala i-double pivot 4-2-3-1 bese dlalisa uDoli as number 10 and until uDola limale kwaswabuyela kwi-4-3-3 and even against i-Sundowns, which is like the game where uZwane just proved to us how good he can be. Yes, he proved to us last season and in previous years, but as a coach, imaging ngempela vele yamkhombisa matching him with the big team in South Africa, and not good babedlala ibhola elisil Sundowns, but we're playing just the double pivot with uNange no Cole, and then phambi kwabo umuntu oyedlala i-10 kwakuDoli. Yeah, so in that way esisu sethu sasi-functional sikwazi futhi nokudefenda. So now adding a player who's not just gonna be good defensively but ozokwazi ukuthi asisize mas-build up but also be good enough ukuthi mase sifika phambili uyakwazi ukwenza those creative passes, because if you're a defensive midfielder as well asifundi ukuthi ukwazi ukudefend. Yes, your other job is to protect the defense. You're a defensive midfielder, but your job, which Matt does very well, is linking up play from the defense, connecting it defense and attacking midfielders, and he would certainly do that well. And with a line of 3 in front of him, whether ngezansi kuzobe kukhona uMngcobo or kuzobe kukhona uDoli or uDoli uzobe dlala i-10 or uMngcobo uzobe dlala i-10, doesn't matter. Whoever the 3 that would be in front of the double pivot will be getting proper supply of the ball, because when you're talking about a player like Umati, then you're talking about a player who can play those short passes, who also can play those long range passes. So all in all uzokwazi ukuthi adlale lapha. But as I said, kusekhukhune ube benefita nokuthi bebedlala bebe bawu2 kwi-double pivot again. So kwesinye isikhathi bekhamba yena, kwesinye isikhathi ikhamba upartner wakhe. So that is why I see the system ukuthi izomfita, but not only if he's playing as a holding number 6 ahead, but it seems like yena it would fit him more as number 6 ozobe established with another number 6, because of the fact that he wants to go forward, he wants to advance, he wants to be in those areas that will cause harm to the opposition. And sizodlulela komunye umdlali who actually has been playing kumaZulu most of the time, not as a defensive midfielder uSithebe, but he's been playing mostly as an attacking midfielder, as an 8. But as I said, ukuthi is in a system that I see Zwane playing 4-2-3-1. He can play 4-3-3 as well, but I'm just saying ukuthi kui 4-2-3-1 into that I saw ukuthi ngathi ayimshaya ukuthi wayengenabo those players who can collect the ball, because into ebegcina yenza bekuNange no Cole, and then between both of them abekho really that suited in collecting the ball and starting to spread it around and have a good range of passing and all that stuff. Bekukhona ukuthi okay, they are good defensively but solid in that regard, and uNange bese ba dangerous masi at the edge of the box ngokuthi he can shoot, he can take long range shots, but when it comes to building the ball up, then ileyo nto leyo engekho kahle. But if naye uSithebe kuthiwa you partnering him with someone more defensive than him, then it gives him uSithebe that freedom to go and collect the ball and to also be advancing forward as the ball is being progressed towards the opposition's half. And also it's worth noting ukuthi sidlala i-double pivot and we are playing ama-6-2, it won't matter much given the fact that I foresee Chiefs having a lot of position. So it's not like we'll always be deep and all that stuff, but it will be helping us when we are building up from the back, because uSithebe is that good of a player ukuthi come on the ball, and that's one thing that you need. And uZwane Michael multi-players must play with arrogance. It's that stuff with more petty ball wazi ukuthi likim akekho umuntu ozovela alithathe nje kalula kanjalo. So definitely uSithebe is good with that. And vele in before he even started playing as number 8, I was just chatting with someone else ukuthi ayibo njalo uSithebe vele has played deeper even before. So yeah, I don't see it being much of a problem for him to play a deeper role, but I have to say ukuthi I don't see him playing most of the times as a 6. I see him as a 8 or a 10 because that's where he shines most. That's where he makes the most of the difference. And his starting position is always further up the field. Akusikho ukuthi udropper too deep ayolanda ibhola, but most of the times he starts ahead because i-influence yakhe is mostly when we're in the opposition's half, and that will make him effective kakhulukazi masezidlala on the other side makuwukuthi we're on the final third and we need that creative touch and uzoba khona lapho. But also as a defensive midfielder sidlala nge-Chiefs dominating the opposition, then I don't see why he wouldn't be able to play that. And also one thing that's worth mentioning, as a defensive midfielder you need to ukhulume, and is at his age and with the experience that he has now, he already knows how to organize the team and how to organize the guys, especially given ukuthi kuzobe abafana abancane abaningi bazobe bedlala kwi-Chiefs this season. Mawubheka nje kusuka epaleni mangathiwa aqala ukuvuma ama center back, mangathiwa for instance khona ungezana who is also good, a good character, ukwini kuyafika, left back let's just say umabili, so yabo, so most vele kuzobe kukhona ukuthi umngane and leadership yakhe and communicating with them, telling people to come back to position and just organizing all in all. If you watch Barcelona like towards the end of last season, Busquets is old manje and he doesn't have the legs to run around like he did World Cup in 2010, but because of ukuthi unengqondo usiyakwazi ukufunda igame, that thing compensates for a lot of things, because then your positioning ugcina uswazi ukuthi kumele uyipositione kanjani to not waste your energy ukuze ugcina ungekho fit, uyazi ukuthi ngigijima makunjani angigijima kunjani, and that's what experience, that's the experience that Ustebe brings in the team, and that's very needed. And if he's playing deep, because he's 29, next year he will be turning 30, if not, yeah, he will be turning 30, and then you see ukuthi so besingasalindele much of ukugijima kuye, but it can be just him organizing the boys and being able to, you know, continue building and being dangerous. Now, siqale ngo sengivele ngaskipha ke ngayo Blom. Ngizosale sengiqhubeka ngayo Blom. So now with uBlom, a thing that ngizosale sengikhuluma ngayo ukuthi he's one for the future, definitely, because of the fact that if you look at uBlom right now, he is literally the definition kind of a defensive midfielder with just a few things that needed tweaking. What am I talking about? I'm obviously talking about the fact that if you look at his age, he is obviously 22 years of age. And another thing about uBlom is the fact that njengoba edlala, he's also playing as a right back, right? And what do we know very obviously about right backs and central defensive midfielder? There's one thing in common ngabo ukuthi they are the fittest people grounding, and knowing ukuthi this guy plays both as a defensive midfielder and sorry for that graphic, he plays both as a defensive midfielder and a right back, tells you ukuthi one, he's very fitted vele when it comes to umoya emagamini anzima, emagamini where you are under pressure. For instance, makuthiwa sidlala idabi, makuthiwa sidlala against a team that will hold on to the ball, you need to see that. For instance, ngikhumbula nje just this match esayidliwa i-Arrows kabuhlungu Princess Makoko. So uBlom had started the match as a lapho wayeseswing, athiwa double pivot, wayedlala as a second six, and sasingamboni wenzani going forward, but kwakhishwa umphahlelo kwathatha uBlom bamsa ku right back, savele savuleka isisu, wavele wabona ukuthi okay, i-role kaBlom kule game bekuyo destroy nje lapha eswini ukuthi Arrows they are comfortable on the ball, but ngesikhathi kusekhona uBlom grounding they were not able to play that fancy football yabo, but kwanele kwaphuma uBlom wayibona imbobo ivuleka. And another thing that I like about him ukuthi defending wise is good, positioning wise he's good in that position of defender, and leadership uyakhula, siyambona ukuthi uyakhula phambi kwethu, and understanding the relationship anayo noZwane makes a case for him to be there. And not only makudlalwa i-4-2-3-1, uLokhunja uBlom is the defensive midfielder that I would play makuthiwa kudlalwa i-4-3-3, because he can comfortably hold in the yedwa and then let on number 8 about 2 ba attack, and yena uzokwazi to cover that ground. And that's what I love about uBlom. And on a personally, I would definitely start with uBlom mina, because he's the one on a holder, and then that gives the freedom to ukuthi udlalisa Umati ngapha noSithebe or Umati noNjabulo, and yeah, noNkosi ngiphile njalo, and ubone leyo combination between uMshini noBlom. And that's why ngithi in a formation njenge 4-3-3, I would definitely start uBlom, and in a formation again a 4-2-3-1, maybe I would start the other guys, but uBlom would be good enough to hold it down on his own. One thing that needs to be improved, which is very vital for a defensive midfielder, is being able to play pinpoint passes that will go straight to a player, find players in different angles, improve vision yakhe, because that's a very important thing for your 6, because as I said previously ukuthi, you need your 6 to have iLokhunja ability to play the ball and to progress the ball forward. And one of those people ngathi khona umuntu ongihackile, ngathi I got hacked. So I wanted to show you Cole Alexander. Now Cole, the problem that we will have right now is the fact that as we speak, inkinga enkulu ukuthi he's 33. And for your defensive midfielder, one of the things that you need is for him to be able to cover ground. And in one of the matches that he actually played last season, what we ended up seeing him, he came out because wayese fatigued njena engasakwazi kwenza lutho, and that's why we kind of got exposed ukuthi okay, njengamanje this player iminyaka ngempela isimshile. And it's I don't want to say it's unfortunate, but it is kind of the thing yokuthi usemdala una 33 and iball is not getting any slower, and the position that he plays is very demanding, and you need someone also but very mobile in that position. So into ogcina usuyibona kuyo ukuthi yes, you might need him in a game where we are winning 1-0, and maybe you need someone osezongena to come and control the game and just manage the game for the last 15 minutes. And then yeah, he will be good in that, because kwesinye isikhathi mawudlalisa the young boys bangagcina sebepanic ukuthi ayibo nansi pressure yabo, so then you can relieve them of their duties and bring any experience to just kind of come and manage the game. Because it's not necessarily ukuthi just because people are old man sekumele bangadlali bonke, because if ungasena experience in your team, then you're not gonna have anything. I would say the same thing goes for Uphathula. Ukuthi with Unange as well, one thing that I was critical of last year was the fact that ngangamboni indaba yokuthi mayidlaliswa as a defensive midfielder, i-vision yakhe, how does he progress the ball forward, ngangamboni guys, kwakuvele njenze the silliest of mistakes. But what I saw masedlala under uZwane, ngathi ama-instructions bese ku-clear ukuthi okay, wena ngeke ube deep ukuthi uzosiqalisa ibhola ukudlala from the back, but wena uzobu advancer because you are more dangerous masengena eswing, masengenwa njalo eboxini or outside the box. And in fact, I think that's the goal he scored against Sundowns. Yeah, I think he scored a goal against Sundowns, and he shot outside the box. And we've seen Vele, even now with Derby, there was that time where I saw 2 runs boxini, and we are when it comes to box midfielders, he fits the 2-box part, not box 2. He fits the 2-box, the other part you good mausungale we have. That's where he gets dangerous. But yeah, it's the thing yokuthi ish. Yeah, what do we do? Where do we play him and how do we play him? I would say because his work rate is really good, then makuguthi udlalise someone okwazi ukudlala ibhola, then uyakwazi ukuthi umdlalise in an advanced position, e8 or even e6 really, if kuguthi the other partner mawungamperishanga noCole, because mawubaperisha noCole, they are basically similar players ukuthi bayasebenza nje bayasebenza, and that's why they were so good against Sundowns. But if you pay him with the mat, Umati uzoba mobile, and then mhlampe yena attack only if Umati is sitting deep, and then yena overlap to go and pounce on those loose balls outside the 18 area, or sit back while Umati is going forward. Then there would be a perfect that would be a good partnership in that sense. So mina personally mangathiwa kudlalwa i-double pivot in a 4-2-3-1, I would play Umati no Blom, because angazi mhlawumbe ukuthi ngibias, but I love Blom and I want to see him play and I want to see him grow, because I've seen what he can do in midfield in many times. Even the other season where we got to the final of Champions League, why Lala so nice that position, and it just pleased me to watch. And having those combinations, mangathiwa sebedlala nomshini nodlala 6 umshini nodlala 8, it would just be a nice thing to see abafana bethu from development pairing up, not because just isifuna ukuthi kube into emnandi, but it's because we know how good they can be together. So I would play him as a defensive midfielder if I was playing alone, but also if he was playing with someone else, I would still play him, because I personally think he's a good player and he's one for the future. Guys, let's reach 200 likes. Come on. Let's hit them. Hit 200 likes. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. And until next time, remember, Khosi, I'll pay no more. Outro.